a motherfucker better or just equal as, I thought Sauce Money held his own, even though it was for a small window, small period before Rocafella really became Rocafella. So that's basically it.
You fucking bugging. You bugging.
All right, go ahead. Speak your truth.
You bugging, and I resent everything you just said, and
Yeah,
I
but you got to
disagree.
give me your facts and you got to give me, that's cool. I'm a clown. I'm a this, I'm a that. But you got to tell me why. Break
Yeah,
it
but I just
down.
got to start. I got to start off by letting you know why you triggered me. You know what I'm saying? That's just the
Okay,
way I
go for it.
unpack. I just
Okay,
want you to
go for
know
it.
that I resent everything you just said. I wanted to throw my phone,
Okay, cool. So go ahead. Counter.
bro. When Sauce Money and Jay-Z got together,
Mm-hmm.
they typically did one kind of song. They pretty much went one direction. Sauce Money is a great punchline rapper. That's what he is to me. So like, yes, he complimented Jay-Z. I don't know if I would say that he made him better, but they didn't turn into a team, a dynasty until Siegel came. Siegel came and did everything that you're saying. Siegel complimented Hove in every way, and he out-rapped him on a lot of shit, and he pushed him to do better. You know what I'm saying? Like, he started making classic albums. You know what I mean? Like, he put the whole squad together after Siegel came. It was almost like he needed that. So if anything, I would compare
Like
Sauce,
Rodman.
even though I love Sauce Money, I would compare Sauce to like the uh more of a, for lack of a better term, role player. You know what I mean? Like, I just think Siegel came and took on like the other star role that Hove needed, the fire that
Which
he
is what
needed.
Rodman did.
Pippen,
Well, that's what Rodman did. When
Pippen,
Rodman got acquired, that's when the dynasty really went to a whole nother level.
Pippen, bro,
Mm, okay.
Pippen.
I don't know that Beans. I don't know that Beans. Look, Beans is a monster. I could quote 1,000 Bean verses right now, more than I could a Sauce Money verse, quite honestly, which doesn't help my argument. I'm just saying for that period of time that they were together, the body work that they did, I want to say pregame as a great example.
They just
Bro,
had
they
a
were
couple
going tit
songs.
for tat.
They
Yeah,
just
but
had
They
a
got
they
they
got
got they, they got like 4 songs together.
they got like
they got
four
like four
songs, and they
songs
wasn't
together.
they wasn't really going tit for tat like that though. But
Well, maybe I'm just more of a Sauce Money stan, and I really got to appreciate him while he was at his apex, which is where the
oh,
compliment came from.
it was other people on those songs too. Who else?
Same thing with the Beanie Siegel records. Like, can we highlight a really dope Beanie and Jay record where Beanie just
Yeah, throw
completely
your hands
either
up.
went?
Do it
Bear
again.
Nah.
witness
Yep.
to the
Throw
greatest.
your
Can't
hands
Hold
beat
up.
us.
Yeah,
on.
Join us. Keep
Ignorant,
Hold,
leaders
ignorant
on us.
shit.
yeah, but
yeah.
you
Ignorant
can
And
shit.
Siegel
argue. You
Siegel
can
got classic
argue. Hold up, I
albums.
get that, but
The
you can
Scampy
argue
Light.
that honestly, to me, that's my favorite whole verse of all time. He completely bodied that record to the point where I forgot Beanie Siegel's on it. Beanie Siegel
You
just
mean
kind of
it's on,
walks him
Riggs?
in. What's
It's
up?
on? Which one?
Throw your hands up.
Oh, okay.
That's one of the greatest J verses like ever. Top
Yeah, but
damn near
you
two or
didn't
three for
forget
me.
Siegel was on that song.
Man,
Siegel,
Siegel set
I
that shit
did. He
up.
Toe
actually,
tag that
nah.
shit.
Well, it depends on how you listen to it. I feel like Siegel teed him up, like walked him in, like, here, I'm gonna throw you the alley oop, and then Hove just completely took over. Same thing with
Like
Reservoir
Pippen
Dogs.
would
It's
do. Like
just,
Pippen would do.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying. That's why I'm saying I never got that feeling listening to a Jay-Z Sauce Money song. It just sounded like they were just
well, I don't think I
making
have
mixtape
enough
records.
catalog to hold down my argument. Quite honestly, I just don't. All I
Yeah,
have is maybe
you
three or
said
four
Pippen.
joints.
You
Yeah, I know what I
said
said.
Pippen,
Yeah, I
Ricky
know what I
Small.
said. Shit. Yeah, I know what I said. Hello, I'm gonna stand by it, but I just don't have
Got him.
enough catalog to warrant. I don't have enough catalog to stand by my argument, with the exception of the conviction that I have for how dope that motherfucker was at his apex, skills wise.
I
And you
love
can
Sauce
add
Money.
some others. You could add some of the other Beanie Siegel records, which is cool. But like Reservoir Dogs, he was one of many, and it's not like he torched it either. But he was one of many on that
And
record.
what'd you say about Ye, man? Like that Watch the Throne album, man. Them niggas did some
I don't count
magnificent
that.
shit. Why
No,
not?
they did. They
Why you don't
did.
count
But
that?
I'm gonna tell you why I don't count that, because that was an opportunity for Hov, for me, I feel, to kind of even the playing field. Because prior to that, if you listen to the collaborations between both of them, yeah, kind of had the more memorable moments.
Like what?
I mean, shit. Let's see. Trying to think. Any record that Hov jumped on that originally belonged to Kanye just didn't. Run This Town was another one. Run This Town was a Hov record. Ye got on there. You remember them Ye verses?
Hey Keish,
Hey.
I think I'm sensing a little Hove hate.
I was gonna say I feel like you pretty much summed it up because I'm really hard. Hi Riggs, how are you? I'm Keisha. Nice to meet you.
Hi,
I
Keisha. Pleased to
This
meet
Keisha
you.
Riggs. Anytime we sense Hove hate,
With the kind of voice, girl, I must
we be trying to
admit,
figure out if we got to get in the
we
back
we
hole.
form like Optimus Prime voice. I'm really hard on my rappers. So sometimes when people
same.
make those comments, I always look at it because I believe like if people do something once, I call that luck. But if you continuously do it, then I feel like, oh, okay, you Kobe and you Jordan. So as far as Pippen goes, as soon as I saw it on Twitter, I immediately thought Siegel because I feel like I always use the word spar because when people say best, if there's no one against you or you didn't have any battles, then how are you the best? You're kind of anybody could say they're the best until they're put up against somebody who is an equal sparring partner. So the
True.
only other person that I could even say could stand in the same sentence as a Pippen with Hove would be big. I wouldn't even go Sauce Money yet because it was too early on. Like even though Reasonable Doubt is critically acclaimed, for like Meg says, not the hip hop connoisseurs, for it to be considered a classic, he put it out again. So then if I look at the time frame of the Source Money music that was made, because I have Streets is watching on VHS. I stole it from my uncle. He's never getting it back. I I just can't give Source Money. Like I can't put him at Pippen without going through Siegel and Biggie first, especially Siegel, because I feel like sparring wise and rap wise, whenever Siegel was on a track, I felt like if I hear people talk about who had the better verse, a lot of time who's like a repetitive, like real argument on better verse on a song, it's always Siegel. Like it's all like you might say like people might say Eminem on Renegade, but they only had one track, or
Mm-hmm.
Kanye on one song. I don't know of more than one song that somebody would say that he bested, maybe two, if I'm thinking. But as far as their track record, even on like 1-900 with somebody else being on the track, it's consistently, at least on this coast, it's Beanie Siegel. Because I even love the element of, I said this in another room that Bishop had, Brooklyn and Philly on a record is some type of magic. I don't know what that is. I don't know if it's because
Yeah,
I
that's
say
true.
Philly rappers spit for their green card. Like they all spit like they immigrants and they rap in the state in this country. Like it's so hard
Facts.
so I'm gonna say Siegel just because of the time frame, the songs, the quality of songs, chart wise, Hove in his prime, Siegel in his prime, because I was having another argument in a Philly room about does Siegel still rap the same, and what changed as to why he doesn't quote unquote rap as good as he used to. So I'm gonna go. That was a little long winded, but yeah, I'm gonna
Nah,
say
that was an
Siegel and
excellent
then
point.
Biggie. I'm gonna say Siegel and then Biggie and then Source Money, and no honorable mention. Meg, don't say nothing. I'm really disappointed that Memphis Bleak is not.
That's a
Memphis
fact.
Bleak
Bleak.
is in here.
You couldn't
Nah,
even say that shit and keep
nah.
a straight
Yeah,
face.
straight
Meg,
up.
we had a lot of invested in Memphis Bleak, and it
You couldn't
upsets
even
me
say that
every
shit and keep
Nah,
a
time.
nah, nah, nah.
straight
They got a
face.
couple classic moments too though. Bleak and
Right, but
Hove.
it's like
Man,
he
Best
wasn't.
song on a
He
Bleak
didn't.
album is a Jay-Z song.
Right,
There's
and
something.
Royce, I
facts.
was somebody argued that Sauce was more of a Bleak to Hove than Bleak was, as far as like
Man,
their records, and I had to like stop and think because Bleak just had such a big hype behind him. Like I was on the set of um what's the where he's walking from Marcy Meth Bleak is like it was he had Hove had us we thought that Bleak was it, and it upsets me that we thought that that's what it was gonna be,
I'm
but
still upset he took up the real estate on that Hove album over the Primo track. I'm like, really? This is how we're gonna start the album? Good looking out, bro.
I just want to say, Memphis Bleak, if you could hear me, I love you.
But
Blame
I'm
Jay.
not gonna sit here and say I'm a Hove stan. I'm not a Hove hater either. And I knew that I was coming into this conversation with I'm gonna be on the losing side of this argument. But I do feel like in the bit of time that we got to see Sauce with a little bit of work, I just thought skill set to skill set, even though Hove clearly surpassed him and a bunch of things took place that just didn't allow for that previous Rocafella incarnation to keep going. I thought Sauce Money was the closest thing to Pippen. I take no regrets in making that statement. And
Do
again,
you
my
feel,
reference
sorry,
point.
Rick,
What's
to
up?
interrupt you? Do
Nah,
you
go
feel
for it.
like they only did one kind of sound? Because even off the 3 songs off the top of my head, it's the same kind of.
It's
They
sparring.
didn't.
All they did was spar. That's what I loved about it. All they did
Okay.
was spar.
Yeah, they
Back
got
and forth. That's all they did.
Sauce was nice. I just feel like Rockefeller, just even as a company, everything elevated after.
Agreed. Agreed. I can't even argue that point. So now regarding Kanye, right? Like, not sure, I'm not sure what issue you took with that, but I always saw Kanye as literally the equivalent to a Kobe. Like, remember, Kobe came off the bench and wasn't being taken as serious as most, and he took a while to convince you that he was the greatest of his time period. I think Kanye did the exact same thing. And I'm not going to make the comparison to the Jordan and Kobe because obviously one is a replica of the other. But I wouldn't even put Kanye. I think Kanye surpassed the Pippen stigma. I really truly believe, like,
On
despite his
Rockefeller?
antics, yeah, yeah, I think he surpassed that. He became bigger than. You can argue that he became bigger than Rockefeller.
Yeah, I'm talking about why he was on Rockefeller. When they did Washington
No, he
Throne.
still had to. Nah, he still had to fucking. He had to scuffle to fucking get past that because he was still a small factor. Like there was still folks in front of him. Cam was in front of him for God's sakes. Like Memph Bleak was in front of him before he finally went off and just did the good music thing. Until good music came into play, Kanye was still kind of coming off the bench for Rockefeller as a rapper, not as a producer. Those are just my thoughts.
You feel like they took him seriously as a rapper, Riggs,
No,
before?
no. Mm-mm.
Oh, okay.
I don't think they took him serious as a rapper till maybe after the second mixtape, first album. That transition period between the Get Well Kanye or whatever that was called and then his album.
Did you put me on? Did you put me in unsigned hype? I just thought about
it.
I'm done.
What'd you put me? Didn't you put me on unsigned hype, Riggs?
I put you in the Y2K class. It was you, Nelly, and a couple of folks that I felt were going to take over. The future was in your hands.
Wow.
Well, thank you for that, man.
You were in a class with Nelly.
I was. I appreciate that, man.
Nah, of course. Not a biggie. I'm not a Hove hater, but I will say, fuck that. He's not better than Big. But yeah, still, like it's just I'm not a Hove hater.
He's better than everybody. He's better than everybody, bro. He took this shit to a level that it ain't been.
He did. You're absolutely right. But here's the only caveat with Hove. The only caveat I've always had, and maybe the only issue I've had with Hove, is that Hove never scared me. Right? He just never menacing enough for me. Thing is, Big had everything. He was so well-rounded from a storytelling standpoint. And Big would scare the shit out of you with brass knuckles and flash nights and friends named Gutter who kidnap kids and fuck them in the ass and throw them over the bridge. I never really got that from Hove until maybe Threatened Takeover. Those only 2 times that I was a little scared of Hove. Otherwise, his kind of scary is a different scary. And he surpassed every fucking metric known to man as a rapper. You cannot take it away from him. He is absolutely the GOAT of this whole thing. I'm still a big
that nigga checked all the boxes. He the only motherfucker.
Every single box 10 times over, bro. Like whatever, like I'm not even gonna,
Sometimes I won't even argue the Biggie and Hove conversation because that is I feel like that's super valid. And growing up with my uncles bumping B.I.G. through the house pre me and his knowing his voice even pre knowing Hove's voice off the top of my head. But I was gonna say, sometimes with the whole conversation, like again, I like consistency. So I was gonna say like the 11, 12 summers of, consistent, even if we're going tours, even if we're going features, even if we're going like switching up, um having more than one style, which I always feel like is nice to keep in your toolbox, as far as like um being able to say, I could rap more than one way and still be just as nice. Biggie did it on Notorious Thugs. Hove did it earlier on in his career, and then on Jigga What, Jigga Who, and Memphis Bleak, Is That Your Bitch? Um, so I think for if I go GOAT, just because unfortunately Biggie didn't really have a chance to have like a career, which is something that upsets me. And I do think, even though I hate to speak in shoulda, woulda, couldas, that if Big had 5 more albums, they would have been just as good as, you know what I mean? But because there's no such thing as shoulda, woulda, couldas, I just, it's like a no brainer for me to give Hope. Like I don't compare it to anybody, because nobody in rap did it quite like he did it. If I did, like, it's just so many, he just, even like things that have passed that are still like coming back in play that he said already, or like him really saying he was going to do something and really being the person that he is in his raps, and without any somebody on Twitter was making like how you said, Riggs, about you not being scared of Bigs. They had said like 5 questionable Big lines that were like on the borderline of like LGBT, and I was like, I don't
Oh
think at
no,
that
there's like a
time
few of those. Yeah, there's a few of those where I'm
at
just
that
like, I'm gonna
time I
look the
don't
other
think I
way
was.
for that one.
Yeah, I
He
was
got away with murder. Back
right.
then.
So
Yeah, he did.
so then by how rap law is, it does the are those, how are we taking those verses? Like, has there been any questionable Hove lines in the same sense of the Big lines?
The only questionable whole line I've ever had was, if I am better than Big, then who is? I always had an issue with that line because it wasn't
When did
necessary.
he
He
say
was
that? Oh,
he
if
didn't say
I'm not
anything
better than
flagrant. He
Big,
just
he
said,
said
if
if
I'm
I'm
not
not
better
better
than
than Big, I'm the
Big,
closest one.
yeah,
I'm the
something like
closest
that. Where
one.
I'm just like, then clearly you must have had that. That must be bothering you. That's still there. And the reality is this, right? I always like to play a game of what if.
Mm.
Um, Big passing away certainly benefited Hove. One, two. There's a part of me that feels that despite them being super cool, just seeing the way this game goes, they may have ended up being rivals for all we know, right? Because you just never know. There's only one fucking throne, right? And three, with Big, I've quit. I've stopped doing the greatest rapper of all time thing. I do believe he is the greatest MC. So I'm gonna give him at least that, because Hov surpassed every single thing that you can do as a rapper, like everything outside of getting an Oscar. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it's to your point. I don't really get into the Big versus Hov argument, because it's a tough one to have when you don't have the body of work
I
to
feel like
state
life.
your
I feel
case.
like life after death. Life after death is scary good. Like
Yeah, man.
Like
it's
perfect from top to bottom. Absolutely.
it's like a little bit too good for somebody his age. Kendrick came out the gate like that. You know what I'm saying? But the
Hmm.
nigga Hove, bro, Biggie can't be Riggs. Biggie can't be the greatest MC, bro. I'm sorry. Hove checked all the boxes.
He did. I'm not gonna front. He did. This is just
This is a
personal
hard, that's a
preference.
hard
That motherfucker,
argument.
This is
man,
personal preference.
he mastered every element. He leave no stone unturned. That nigga is good at everything. And
He
then
just
if you
never
just look at
scared
if
me
you
though,
look at
Nickel.
everybody's run, like when niggas go on their runs, his is the most organic because his songs are the most important because he didn't do a whole lot of reaching for singles. He just made really, really cool, important shit. You know what I'm saying?
I will say the most uncanny thing that he was able to pull off. This is super uncanny. Like if you go back and study the Kings and the Rakims and every great that's come before him or after him, everybody has a bit of an expiration date. Your voice changes, your perspective changes. You even mentioned Beans. Like, why is it that Beans doesn't sound? Hove hasn't expired. Hove is just
And
But
as
that's
different now.
why.
just don't listen to a song called Ghetto Techno. Never listen to that song. I'm gonna just throw that out there.
But
But
that's
yeah,
that's
Hove
why I was
exceeded
gonna
that.
say that too,
G,
because 50
yeah.
people are really interested in 52-year-old whole verse, like,
Mm-hmm.
and he'll spit it bar for bar. And even I was gonna say, like, his last, when he did the last B-sides, like, still being able to, and I keep saying this, like, no background dancers, no, not a whole lot going on behind him, not,
not at
you
all.
know, a big chain on. He doesn't dance. And to be able to commend that, like, it's crazy to look to my left and look to my right and see grown men holding on to every word that this man is saying, you know, like at the beast in Terminal 5 in New York, which is kind of small. It's no room in there really. And for
The
Nah,
him to
Hov
thing,
is
the
really
thing with
he
him, the
is
thing with
he's
him is
religion.
it ain't just the raps. You know what I'm saying? Like it's the shit that he stand for. It's the shit, how intentional he is with what he's doing and how important to the culture it is. And we never had that. Like people compare Drake to him, right? I love Drake. I think Drake is a great artist, but Drake don't fucking stand for anything. You know what I'm saying? Like Drake takes his ball and goes home. Like so technically that's what you're supposed to do on that level. So he
I'm about,
moved the goalposts all around in every way you can think of to benefit us.
I'm
Like
about to
he was
take
at
my ball home, bro. What the fuck?
yeah, he was at the height. He was at the motherfucking height on the Summer Jam stage, and he was bringing drama to niggas. You know what I'm saying? Like calling niggas out, going taking niggas rhyming at the radio station. You ain't gonna never see that again. You
I
ain't
agree
never gonna
with
see
you,
that again.
Royce. The
Rich,
one
did you
thing
not
that
think that was Vicious Hove on Blueprint Hove?
I thought
Blueprint
Takeover
Hove,
was
Black Album Hove.
Takeover. All right, so Takeover Hove was the first time I was a little scared of him. For a hot second, I was like, "Oh shit, this dude really does know how to get upset." And then, then obviously Ether came and that kind of, scratched it off the record. But then on Threat was the closest I think he came to like, "Oh shit, like this dude, he's scary." But the
You
one
ain't
thing
never
that
rapped before, had you, Riggs? You ain't never wrote no raps, right?
nah, just
Okay.
dissect. Yeah, sorry, that's the one thing I didn't
But I
bother
think that
even.
I also think, like, then here goes the criteria of rap. I don't need everybody to play that role either. Like Biggie, that was really Biggie body, and I think it's believable because that's really who he was. Like Puff had to stop him from robbing niggas, and
Well,
Hove.
nah, I think every great MC Keisha needs to have a menacing quality to him. At least some
But
slightly
but is it
menacing
the same
quality.
kind of menacing? Is it the same? Does menace only mean one type of thing? Like, was the Joker better than Bane? Or I mean, was Bane better than the Joker because he blew up a whole football state?
Menacing
Like,
is no well, menacing is what you say and how you say it, especially
okay,
under the context of an MC, right? Like,
okay,
you can get Kanye's never really scared anybody here, but like at any given moment, depending on what chamber and what in his soul he gets out, he can probably scare you, but just hasn't. But I think every great MC has to have the ability to scare the shit out of you, whether it's in the way Rakim did it or the way G Rap did it.
When
Like,
did Rakim scare you?
I'm about to say
I
I
ain't
don't
no
think
joke.
Rakim.
I ain't no joke. When I first heard it, not even when I first heard it, to this day, when I ain't no joke. If smack was a rap, if a backhand smack was rap, I ain't no joke is that. That's how I ain't no joke feels.
So you talking about the whole Blueprint and the Black Album?
I'm talking about Rakim
I'm
with the
talking about Hov.
blueprint. With Hove. Threat. Threat was the one where I was like, oh shit. And by the way, even more credit to Hov, which I think is supremely overlooked. When Big died, it was a free for all out here in New York to see who was going to take over that mantle. And then you saw Mace kind of sneaking in there, and then that new breed came out with like DMX and Pun and Cannabis. Your man Hov had to fight through that whole shit, and it wasn't until Blueprint that he was certified as the king of all that is on at least on this side of the spectrum. That
Yeah,
was a
no,
fight I
he caught his
saw
stride.
in him.
He
He
caught his
caught
stride
his
on
yeah,
Hard Knock
man.
Life. Hey, I got a theory on when niggas have movements like that that's like so right with the universe. I feel like nothing ever would have stopped it, no matter what. I don't even know if I agree with because Biggie died, it helped Hove out a lot. I don't agree with that.
That's another. I agree too with that, Royce. I think Hove was always going to be Hove, but I feel like it might have just taken another path. But I feel like where he is ultimately, he was always going to be there because of how he moved back in the day. He's always been too cool for school and a businessman. So he's always had like a very entrepreneurial mindset because of how long it took him to get in this game. So
Yeah,
I
we was
think he
talking.
would have.
We was talking about not to cut you off, Queen.
Okay.
Punch. We was talking about. Me and Los was talking last night about that show y'all did, that Kendrick did when all of the Cali legends was like basically handed him the throne, like
Oh,
Yeah.
passing
with
the
the
torch,
game, with
Yeah.
game.
passing the
Yep.
torch. And I was saying, I think that's beautiful that happened. You know what I'm saying? Because like that unified front is like what a lot of cities don't have. But
Right.
just playing devil's advocate, nigga, you either was gonna give him the crown or not. You know what I'm saying? But
Oh yeah.
Kendrick was gonna Kendrick. You know what I'm saying? Period, nigga. He was here to stay.
Yeah, he was coming
You
to
know what
get
I'm saying? Like that shit was just, it was just what it was, my nigga. It was like, if anything, to me, it's niggas just really being complicit, or niggas just really just conforming to something that's inevitable. You know what I mean? Like it's just meant to be. The way his shit happened, it just had to happen that way, bro.
He made himself a serious player from that control verse and then punch. I told you where you see that scare thing that Riggs was talking about when at the Hip Hop Music Awards punch when Kendrick Lamar looked dead. I don't even think he was supposed to. I felt like he was looking at me in the camera. Like that's how it felt, very weird, because I am also another big Drake fan, and I was like, let me see how this is gonna go. When he did the high five and slapped without looking at Schoolboy Q and slapped the fucking high five during the hip hop, I said, he's I feel like he's dead fucking serious out here. Like I started taking every line and verse more serious. Like I was like, oh, okay, King Kendrick. That's how I was addressing him from then on.
Yeah, I think he's scared. I think he scared Riggs on that one.
That was my I don't give a fuck. That was Kendrick when Hov said, let's kill the speculation. I'm talking to all y'all. When he was talking about who he better than, that was Kendrick. Yeah, like that's everybody included. That's everybody. I'm talking to everybody.
Hov was bringing us fucking smoke.
I will say though, there's something I think also gets overlooked. I think most great artists like a Kendrick and like a Hov, to your point, Royce, they make a conscious effort to go to the next level. That's a concentrated effort. That's when you know your superpowers, you know what you need, the right beat, the right this, the right approach, and it's just like, like it's funny because like with K Dot, I felt that on Control, and I also felt it on Humble. On Humble was, and I was like, oh, this dude has superpowers.
It's other niggas that been doing it, but what he did right there was just an excellent job of reading the room. Niggas was being too friendly, man, too fucking friendly, too friendly. It was just time for a pivot. You know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't like it was the greatest shit that he ever spit. It was just what he said, how he said it, and when he said it. You know what I'm saying?
Did y'all have a conversation, Punch? Because I believe that every good rapper has somebody that puts like the ultimate battery in their back, like fuck what these niggas out here talking about, nigga. So I want to know, like, was it a group meeting? Was it a TD? Hi guys, put our hands in, or was that all like him doing what Royce said and decided? I'm sorry, what Rick said and deciding, yeah, it's time for me to elevate.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna take all the credit, right? But it was a conversation, and the conversation was, yo, everything is too nice right now. The first dude that break that chain is gonna be the one. So that was the conversation. Like months later is when he did that. So I'm not sure if he listened to that, or he may have. I don't know.
He did that.
They do. It's a delayed reaction. They won't. They may not act like they're listening, but the good ones listen. That self-awareness is a whole different kind of power, yo. And it's really dope to watch.
Yo, my bad. I just got back. The Punch say when the next Kendrick album's dropping. My bad. Sorry.
Don't do that. Don't do that, Bishop.
Hey, Matt. Do that, Bishop. Matt. Do that. Thank you, Bishop.
Please do that, Bishop.
Hey, Matt.
Please.
Hey, Matt. Where was you? Where was you at when you heard Control? When you heard Control, you was in New York.
Yes.
Were you offended?
No. I'll tell
you. Why was New Yorkers getting offended?
I wasn't. There
was definitely something to be offended by. Don't get me wrong. I wasn't offended at him. I got annoyed at the lack of responses. I expected a boatload of missiles to be launched at his head.
I ain't gonna even cap. I was thinking to myself.
No, that's not true. Because Graf actually had a really, really good response. And
listen, I was thinking to myself, like, why are so many people rapping? Like, what the fuck is going on? Like, What part were they responding to? Like, what was the problem?
Because this
When he
is
said all of y'all,
Royce, what you have to remember is this is a moment where a New York MC feels like, how do I say this? You ever see two people get in a fight? One of them might have been your homeboy, your big homie. You say to yourself, man, if I was there, I would have did this, I would have did that, I would have smacked him dead in the face, I would have did this. Well, every New York MC has grown up in the shadow of the East Coast West Coast beef, and tons of them have heard the diss records to New York and thought to themselves, if I was there. And they thought about the moments that were made by MCs who responded on both sides. You now have an apex level MC from the West Coast who's being heralded as the guy, throwing shots at New York and opening the door for you as a New York MC to create such a moment and get back. And I like the lack of people who took arms to do it.
What MCs did y'all have?
Wait, time out, Royce, real quick. I was gonna say the landscape was dry as a desert that day for New York rap. Let's keep it a buck. That's why every response
I'm trying to think who the hell y'all even talking about.
Sucked. Every single one of them shits was ass. It was just
that's
like,
bullshit. Graf had a great fucking response.
My man, you hear how that sounds? Graf had a great response.
But that's only because
crazy.
No. That's only
that's like,
because
yo, Malachi the Nutcracker bodied him, yo.
Yo, not Malachi. Yo.
Okay, let me.
I might have to send him to the gulag.
Let me stop just for a hot second. If we're talking on a commercial level, if you talk about a fame level, yes, your argument holds perfect sway. If we talk about an MC level, then it is out and out disrespectful to compare Graf to Malachi the Nutcracker. And because the only reason
I can't believe how personally you're taking that.
No, because we're talking. We're talking here.
Bro, Kendrick walked up to the Statue of Liberty and spit in their eye and took the fuck out.
Damn, I ain't even look at it like that.
And the fact that a lot of dudes couldn't get past Kendrick's security to get at him, but still tried. That's where I'm coming from. Graf had a fantastic response.
Bro, that nigga was behind no security.
Yo, bro, lyrically, he fucked everybody up.
He was on
when
the
I
road.
say security, when I say security, I'm talking about in the med. Hold up, Bishop. When I say security, I'm not talking about in the literal sense. I'm talking about in the figurative sense. I'm talking about him being ignored because he's not as famous. That's where I'm coming from. He's not as famous.
Okay,
if
Mac,
a famous New York rapper had done it, it'd have been a different story. But he's not as famous.
Mac, let me respond. He literally stood.
Here we go.
He put his foot all the way in everybody's ass, dog, and that scared. It scared the whole.
I looked at it like he
was amazing.
I looked at it like he was like drawing his line in the sand.
Yep.
And basically saying, we all cool. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel my man's in them, but I'm coming. No,
you missed the part where he declared himself the king of New York. He didn't declare himself the king of any of those other states.
He said, I'm Frank White.
He didn't compare himself the king of any of those other states to any of the MCs that he listed. He didn't say he was the king of Philly for Meek Mill. He didn't say he was the
because
king
that was
he didn't do that.
Because
he said he was the king of New York.
Yeah,
wasn't that like a playoff of a corrupt line or something? though?
Yeah, but you still said it. And
I feel like you think it was you meant it was intentional, right, Mac? Like he did that purposefully to say.
I will never sit here and tell you that a man as dope as Kendrick is reckless with his words, especially with his pen and when he's rapping. You ask me if he's, I damn sure.
Oh, he ain't care how y'all felt about it.
Yeah. Hey, I know.
Did anybody hear Fab? Fab had replied. Did anybody hear Fab?
New York niggas was triggered in a motherfucker.
Yo, Royce.
No, I was.
Yo, Royce. You're right.
Hey, real quick, can I tell y'all my favorite part though?
Mm-hmm.
Kendrick, when it came out, Kendrick was overseas.
I was with him.
He was on tour, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he didn't really know the impact that it was having back at home. So his first stop when he got back was in New York for the MTV Awards.
Wow.
Oh shit.
So the first thing he did was put on some khakis, a Pendleton, and an LA hat, and was throwing up West Coast on the red carpet.
Mm-hmm.
Where were his glasses?
In New York.
Punch. See, this is why
I
I be
remember
wanting to
I
fight.
remember he
I had
came in.
wanted to see Kendrick. Like, don't let me see him in the corner store because I'm finna press him.
Well, now
I remember he came in the dressing
can't get
room.
past security.
I remember he came in the dressing room and we was talking and we was both like, "What the fuck is everybody rapping for?" I was like, "Everybody doing verses," and he was just like, "Dog, I don't."
Yeah, but at the same time, again, just as a reminder, the New York landscape was dry. How many rappers from New York were on that record? None. Zero.
Fab replied. I had liked Fab
That nigga
replied.
Joel did one. I was in an active group with him at that time. I'm like, God damn,
Nah,
It
I ain't
ain't
running
worth
by
it.
nobody or
Joel
nothing.
we
on the
did
tour then?
we did not have any viable challenges
Joe
coming out of
did
NYC,
one.
bro.
Bro, nobody should have replied, bro. He killed
Period.
everybody. Done.
Period.
Nah, that's not the case.
Yo, by the way, Royce, your initial question about how Mech
You
felt,
can't talk to no New Yorker like
you
that,
know
bro.
how
What's
Mech
wrong with
felt, bro. Mech was hurt, dog.
Oh God,
Yo,
Bishop, you gonna make me say something you don't want me to say.
Mac has a control verse. Mac has a control response in his hard drive, bro.
It's because nobody ever thought to diss. It's because nobody ever thinks to diss Canada.
Whoa, chill.
Y'all spent
See how
all
fast
day.
that happened?
Yo, Drake got mentioned. What you talking about?
Yeah,
Multiple
they
times.
diss
The
Drake. They
Canada
don't
drop.
diss
Drake got
Canada.
mentioned.
Remember, Common had threw some shots a couple years back.
Yeah, that was at Drake. Nobody did. Nobody wants to be the king of Canada.
Yeah.
He lost that one.
Well, because we already know who
Mac,
the king is. It's not up for
please
debate.
remember, heavy is the head.
Head who holds the crown.
Facts.
They don't
Okay.
understand. And if you've never had the crown, you won't understand it.
That's
Mac,
why
Mac, you
I
such a
always and I
triggered New
feel
Yorker,
like
bro.
and that's why I actually respect Kendrick
Yo,
because he
Keisha.
could have went anywhere else in the world, but he came here with us. As
Then
he
there's
should.
that. Then there's that.
Keisha,
Then
don't
there's that.
respond to Mac. Don't back up Mac. I have you in that studio 40 in no time. I see the tweet. I got you, man. I got you. Don't respond to Mac. All right. You be mad.
I want to steal. I actually